practice question. First exam practice question. It is first thing first, you need to understand the question, right? So here is the first question. Write a program function, and I must understand it must be a function, right? To calculate the sum. Sum of what? Sum of these numbers. What are these numbers? 1 plus 3 plus 5. One thing you realize, these numbers are all odd numbers, starting from where? 1, ending where? Up to n. And who will enter the n? N will be provided by the user on the keyboard. So these are the things that you must understand, right? So let's start up with this, right? Let's start up with this here. First we need to write a program which must be a function, right? This thing, function. So def, what was the first thing? You must write a function. Def, with def you start a function of odd numbers, right? And what it should take, it should take parameter n. And from where? By the user, right? So you have to, when you call the function, it should be entered by the user. And within the function, you need to make sum of all the odd numbers. You see here 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, right? So if user enter, let's say 15, right? So what would happen is, if user enter 15, okay, so what would happen here? So this will go all the way up to 15, okay, if user enter 15 on the screen, okay, and that means there will be 13 here, right? 13 and plus 15. So that's how it needs to be done. Now in order to do that, I need to write a function, right? So I say odd sum. First I need to obviously initialize sum to 0, and then I will add all this through a loop. I say I, okay, in range, and you know how in range function works, right? So first you say where it should start. So if you look at it, where this function range should start from 1, right? Normally if you don't provide anything in range, it to start from 0, but you need to specify where it starts and where it finishes, right? So if I say here, let's say I say here 1, okay, and I say here finish at 15, so that I have to, if user enter 15, I have to put here n plus 1. Why? I'll show you why n plus 1. Let me actually give you an example here. Let's say I say print I, right? And I here call this function. First I take the n from the user, okay, and I say enter, I say enter the value of n, right? And then I call in the function. I say result is equal to I just don't need to do result. I just do sum. I'm testing it, isn't it? So I do of sum odd numbers, okay, and when I think let's see, we what we want to do is we want to add all add all the values. So I say odd is equal to odd sum here. Odd sum is equal to you can either say plus equal to 1, right? Or you could do this way, this statement and this statement, odd is equal to odd plus 1. That's the same thing, right? So you can write it this way or the other way, it's the same thing. And then you return odd sum. Now I just want to test it first, right? I want to test it. I want to say result is equal to this, and I want to print the result, right? I want to print the result. I want to print it. If I say here f, and wherever I put n it will be printed as it is. Wherever there's a variable, it will be printed as it is. So I can teach you how to do printing using another way, right? So you say f in the beginning, and you say the sum of odd numbers from 1 to, and then you take comma n comma, and then you say is, okay, and then you say result, and you don't need f here, by the way. you can do without it, right? They will give you the same result. Okay, so if I do this, you see it will start from 1 and it will go up to n plus 1, which is, if I don't do n plus 1, it will go up to, let's say, I don't do n plus 1 here. Oh, right. Okay, so where are we? Here. This is where the problem is. Okay, let's run this again. Odd sum on line 10. Line 10, return odd sum. Oh, that odd sum has to return outside for loop, by the way. The indentation has to be here. Okay. And then we have invalid syntax. Return RETU. Oh, spelling mistake. RETU RN, return like this. Okay. Now I say 15. Now if you see, oh, right. Okay. What is the problem? String object cannot be interpreted as an integer. Oh, you have to also do int here, like this, right? When you take the value, you want to do convert it into integer, right? Okay, 15. See here, it started from 1, went all 15, and and the sum of odd is 15. Okay, odd is equal to, oh, not I wanna say. So it'll give you sum of all these numbers, and I say here 15. See, it'll go from 1 all the way to 14, because it always stay 1 below, and these are not the odd number. It gives you the sum of all this. You want a sum of odd number. You want a 1, 3, then 5, then 7. You don't want to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, right? And the first thing first, we need to go up to 15. So that's why you need to put here n plus 1. So it goes up to 15. Let's run this again. I'll fix one by one. I say 15 here. Now it will go up to, see, 15. You see here at the bottom, it goes up to 15, because we have to put there n plus 1. The second thing we want to do is, we want this to take a jump. If you look at it here right now, it's 1, then 2. So we don't want 2. We want 3, and then we want 4. No, we want 4. We want 5, then 7, then 9. So what we have to do is, we have to make it jump 2 values. So that's why what we do is, in the for loop, we simply put here comma, and here we say 2, right? Now it will jump 2 values, right? And then it will do exactly what it's supposed to do. So if we run this again, I say 15 here. You see here now, right? It starts from 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and this way all the sum of this is 64, and this is perfect. This is what we want, right? So for example, if the user enter, let's say 5, it will only enter 1, 3, and 5, and 1, 3, 5 is 9. You see here, 1, 5 is 9, and that's perfect. That's perfect. That's what we want. That's what we want. If you look at the series 1, 3, 5, if n is 5, it goes up to 5. If n is 7, it goes up to 7, or 9. If n is 13, 15, it'll go up to 15. And start from 1 and n plus 1. Why? Because otherwise it will not go what you enter. If you enter at 5, if you don't put n plus 1, it will go up to 4. That's why you need to do n plus 4. This is how simple this one is. All right, so let's basically move on to the next question, right? So let's move on to the next question, and next question is right, next question is, next question is simple. I'm going to refresh this, reload this. Okay, and here I'm going to paste my next question, and my next question is that question 2, write a program, right? Write a program to check what? A year is a leap year or not, right? It doesn't say that you have to write a function, but it's better to write a function, right? So we could do that, and we just need to check if it's a leap year or not. What is a leap year? Leap year is where if you divide the year by 4, remainder should be 0, and if you divide it by 100, the remainder should not be 0. That's a leap year, right? Divided, because leap year comes after every 4 years. So if you divide it by 100, let's say, so how do we write it? Let's write it, right? Def, okay, and then we say is leap year, and I'll pass year there, right? And the first thing is, well, you want to check if year, okay, if you divide the year by by 4, remainder should be 0. Okay, remainder should be 0. And this is not or, and when you divide the by 100, okay, remainder should not be 0, right? This is one. Or if you divide the year by 400, okay, or one of these condition has to be true, okay, 400, the remainder is equal to 0. If you divide it by 400, remainder is equal to 0, that means that's a leap year. So these are the conditions that you need to put in there. That's how simple that is. So what is this? Let me explain this again. If you this percentage sign, this is give you remainder. So if you say year, right, percentage 4, what it does is it basically divides. If the year is, let's say, 100 and let's say 4, which is not the year, by the way, but if you divide it by 4, it is basically then it'll check, right? So what is it? Give you 100 here, 101, right? 101 is equal to 104, right? And remainder is 0, right? But if it is 105, then remainder would be 1. So that was it gives you, right, this remainder here, this one, right? So let's go back to, so this is and the year divided by 100 should not be equal to 0, right? And or the year divided by 400 should be equal to 0. If one of these, either these two conditions, because there is the AND gate, so this means this has to be fully true, or this has to be true, then this is leap year, and all you have to do is return true. That's it. You don't have to do anything, right? And then what we do is we ask the user to enter, and you have to obviously put else as well. Else you do what? You return false. That's it. Okay. And then you want to take an input from the user, right? And then you want to call the function. That's what you want to do. So you say year is equal to, and obviously it has to be integer, right? That's why you say integer input, and you just say enter year, right? And that's it. And then you just check if is leap year, right? And you pass on here year. So what will happen is when you check if it is a leap year, it will return. If it is leap year is set true, so if it will be true, and you just print the year is leap year. Okay, you just say year is a leap year, right? That's it. You just say year is a leap year, right? And if it is not true, you say year is not a leap year, right? If else, if it is it returns you false, right? Then you say year is not a leap year, not a leap year, right? Now that's how simple it is, right? So you call this, write this function, you call this function. If it comes here, it will return true. Like if it comes here, right, this one, it will return true. And here, if condition will be true, it will print this one. If it comes here, it will return false. Then here it will be false. Then this second part will be executed. That's how simple it is. So let's run this and see. Ooh, always problems. It's good to get some error, because so you understand what are the problems, right? So here, obviously, we didn't put here this code, and we enter a year. Let's say I say 1904, right? Now 1904 is a leap year. Why? Because 1904, when you divide it by 4, you get 0, right? And you divide it by 100, the remainder is not 0 because the remainder is 4 if you divide it by 100. So that's why it is leap year, right? Similarly, if we say 2023, 23 is not a leap year because when you divide it by 4, remainder is not 0. Okay, so this will not be true. Okay, and when you divide it by 400, remainder is not 0 either, right? So this will not be a leap year, right? So let's see. See, it's not a leap year, right? That's how simple this one is. Now let's move on to the next question. Reload this one and we pick up the next question. And next question is write a program to display all the prime numbers from 1 to 100. What we have to do? We have to display the prime numbers from 1 to 100. That's your question, right? That's your question. Write a program, right? So let's understand the question. So it doesn't say write a function, but we can write a function, right? To display all the prime numbers within 1 to 100, right? So first we need to understand what is a prime number, right? So a prime number is a natural number that is greater than 1 and it has only 2 factors, right? What are those 2 factors, right? The number 1 and number itself, it can be divided by, the prime number cannot be divided by any other number except 1 and itself. So if I say 5, right, can 5 divided by 1, 2, 1? Yes, it can be divided by 1. But what about 2, 3, 4? No. But it can be divided by 5? Yes, it can be divided by 5, right? Yeah. Divided by mean it has a 0 remainder, right? 0 remainder. It should be have a, 0 or, full. It shouldn't give you a fractional value when you divide it, right? So that's a prime number. So what are the numbers? Those cannot be fully divided by any other number. So those numbers are 2 because 2 divided by 2 and 2 divided by 1 is equal to 2. So this is okay. Then we have is 3. Yeah, 3 is prime number. Why? Because 3 divided by 3. You can't do a 3 divided by 2 because it will give you fractional value. You can only divide by 1 or 3. And what about 4? 4 can be divided by 2, right? Because it gives you 0, 2. So it will give you, 2. So that means it is not a prime number. It is not a prime number. What about 5, right? 5, you divide 5 by 5, okay, and that gives you 1, right? It should be fully divided by itself or 1. That's the factor, right? That means the prime number cannot be divided by any other number except 1 and itself, right? So if it is 6, now 6 can be easily divided by 2, right? That's equal to 3. So that's not a prime number. It's also divided by 3 gives you 2. So that is not a prime number because it should be divided by itself and other. What about 7? 7 is divided by 1. Yes, that's okay. What about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? No. But 7 can be divided by 7 as well. So this is a prime number. Why? Because prime number can be divided by either 1 or itself. So that's why it's a prime number. So we need to find out this by writing a function, right? So one thing you understand that while I'm doing this, right, this thing with you, I divide the number by 1 and remainder is 0, and I divide it by itself and the remainder is 0, then it's a prime number. For example, here if I divide it by any other number, then itself it should not give a remainder 0. Okay, so 5 example, 5 is divided by 1, remainder is what is it? 5 divided by 1, remainder is, we can forget about 1 because everything is divided by 1, right? So it should be when the condition is that the number should be divided by itself and remainder should be 0. That's the condition. But if it is divided by any other number than itself and remainder is not 0, that is not a prime number. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to run two loops, outer loop and inner loop. So let's say if it is a 5, so 5 should be divided by first 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. Okay, because everything gets divided by 1 anyway. So if 2, 3, 4 give you 0, 5 divided by 2, 3, 4 give you 0, then it's not a prime number. But if 5 divided by 5 give you 0, that is a prime number, right? So you need to understand this. So let's basically do this by writing a program. So we define a simple function called prime. Okay, and we take a number in it, right? And then what we do is we write two loops now, because we need to divide every number we get from the user. Okay, and we must start from 2. Why? Because we don't want to divide it by 1, right? And it must go whatever the number is entered by the user plus 1, because we want to include that number, right? Remember in the last video I showed you this. Okay, and then we're gonna do an inner loop. Okay, and that's for j in range. Okay, and here we also start from 2 and we go up to number plus 1. So what would happen is we check that every I percentage j, so let's say number is, let's say 5, right? So I, first time when the loop run, I will be 2. Okay, and j will be 2. So 2 divided by 2, okay, is the remainder is 0. Yeah, that's true actually. So 2 is a what is 2? 2 is a, we're putting a break there. We need to break the inner loop, right? 2 is a 2 is what then? Yeah, 2 is a prime number, right? And the moment you break this, you want to check this if I and j are equal, right? So for example, 2 divided by 2, both are I and j are equal. So what you want to print is, you want to print I, okay, because that's a prime number, right? You want to print I, and then you want to end it. You know why you do this end thing like this? So that it prints within the same line. It doesn't change the line, right? End with comma, which means not end with carriage return. Carriage return, if you don't put this end, it'll print I every time a number on a different line, right? So if you put this, it will not print on a different line. But well, I can explain that by doing it. I think it'll be more easier. So for the time being, you can just do this, right? And we now go ahead, because what we want to do is write a program. What we're going to do, we're going to write a program to ask display. We're not going to ask the user, right? We're going to just display prime number between 1 and 100, right? So because that's what the question says, right? Prime number within 1 to 100, right? So here we say prime and we say 100, right? And we pass 100, and 100, now what will happen is, when we pass 100 will go into this one, right? And then the whole loop will run. So for the sake of understanding, this will now print all the prime numbers between 1 and 100, right? So let's run this, and then I will explain it in a minute, this question, right? Oh, always expected this, right? So we need, it's good that we get some errors so we understand what the problem. Here's where the colon missing. Okay, what else then? Indentation, right? For statement on line 7 for, oh, this has to be under this, isn't it? Yeah, like this, right? Now it's okay. See, 1 and 100 prime number. 2 is the prime number, 3 is the prime number, 5 is the prime number, 7 is the prime number, 11 is the prime number, 13, because all these numbers are prime number. Why? Because they can be either divided by 1 itself or 1. Everything is divided by 1, so you can only divide 2 by 2, not by anything else, and 3 by 3, not by 2, 5 by 5, not by 2, not by 3, 7 divided by 7 only. So this is all prime number. 11 is only divided by 11 because not by 2, not by 3, not by 5, not by 7, not by anything. Yeah. So this is I give you. Now let me actually explain you in a little bit more detail. Let's say if I put here 5, because in the exam you may not get exactly 100, right? If I put 5, so what will it print? It will come here, the 5 will go into number, right? This number become 5. Okay, the outer loop will run I is equal to 2. When the open loop run first time, I will be 2, right? And j, it comes in here, j will be also 2, right? J will be also 2, right? Now what happened next? And it goes up to what? Number plus 1, 5. It will go up to 5 exactly. Otherwise, if you don't put number plus 1, it will go up to 4. So it will go up to 5. So both loop will run from 2 to 5. This will run from 2 to 5 as well. Okay. First time I and j are 1. If I and j divided by j is equal to 0. So if first time when the loop run, if you divide I and j, that is equal to 0. 2 by 2 is equal to 0. Then loop will break. Which loop? Inner loop. This loop will break, right? It comes on the outer loop here, okay, and it check if I and j are equal. Yes, I and j are equal because both are 2. So it will print I, which means it will print 2. Okay, so what will be the output? First 2, like this, right? And it will, because that is the prime number, right? The second time loop runs, this will be 3, right? So I will be 3, okay, and j will be 2. So 2 divided by 3 is not equal to 0, right? Not equal to 0. So it will not break, okay? It will go up again in the loop, and j is 3. And 3 divided by 3 is equal to 0. So loop will break and goes to the outer loop. And what is here? What is the next statement after on the outer loop? After this block, it will come here and check if I and j are equal. Yes, I and j are 3. And it will print 3 as well. The second thing it will print is 3. Okay. Then the loop will run. The I will be 4. Okay. I is 4 after 3, right? A top one. And because you need to go up to 5. And inner j will be 2 first, right? So if I and divided by j, which means 4 divided by 2 is equal to 0. Yes, it is 0, right? It'll break the loop. Okay, it'll break the loop. It'll go up and check if I and j are equal. No, that's 4, that's 2, right? Not equal. So it will not print it. Why? Because any number that can be divided by any other number by the other than itself is not a prime number. So 4 is divided by 2 here, right? And it's giving you 0 when the loop runs for the first time. So it will break the loop and it will decide this is not a prime number, right? That's why it will go up there, and now it will make I 5. Okay, now when it make I 5, the j will start from 2. So I divided by 2 is 0. No, 5 divided by 2 is not 0. Okay, so it will not break. It go back. J will become 3. 5 divided by 3 is 0. No, it will not break. Go up, and j becomes 4. I will remain 5. 5 divided by 4 is equal to 0. This statement will check. No, it's not. It will go up in the loop, and j becomes 5. Okay. When j becomes 5, 5 divided by 5 is equal to 0. Yes, loop will break and come here and check. And in the outer loop, if I is equal to j, yes, both are 5, so it will print 5. So this way, it will only print 2, 3, and 5 here, right? Here. So let's run this and see if it prints 2, 3, and 5 or not, right? I'm gonna do this here and run this, and see it print 2, 3, and 5 as I said, right? Okay, and because the question says the prime number between 100 and 1 and 100, so we need to pass on here 100. Now another problem is that it's not printing on the same line, so we have to do this. So if you put here comma and you say end with, not with a carriage return, which means do not end every print with a with the new line, just end with a comma, okay, like this. So it will give a comma and give you here like this. You see, it's much better to read it, right, like this. Okay, and that's how our this question is also solved, right? Now we can go to next question, and that next question number 4 is that take, okay, what is next question number 4? Let's see. We do question number 4 and then we do question number 5, right? Okay, let's do question number 4. Oh, first let's refresh this. Okay, let's refresh this. All right, so what is our next question? Right, question number 4. Okay, let's see. The question number 4 is, I'll break down the question like this. Take a number from the keyboard. Okay, take a number. First thing, take a number from the keyboard. Okay, secondly, write a program to check whether a number is a prime number or not. Same thing, we have to again check if it's a prime number or not. Okay, and if the number is a prime number, then print this message, else print that message. So we now, only difference is you have to just take a number from the user and check if it's a prime or not, right? So same rule apply to it. We now just need to check, divide that number by every number in from 2 to whatever the number is, and then we see if it is equal to 0, then it is a prime number. Same rule what I explained to you there, but it's slightly different. So we need to first take the define a function, right? Let's define a function is prime, and this time you will be provided by a number, right? You don't have to say range 2 to that number. Now you will be given a number. For example, how would that happen? It will be very, very simple, that you will be asked to enter a number, right? So you say number is equal to integer, okay, and you say input, and you say enter a number like this, right? And whatever number you enter, right, and then you just check if it is a prime number or not. And whatever number you enter, you just need to call this is prime. Okay, this function that I'm defining here, this one is prime. Okay, is prime, and I'm defining this function. Whatever you, and when you call this function, you just need to pass in this number here. Okay, and it should print that if this number is a prime number. For example, here if I run this, let me what is that? Indentation block. Okay, what is the indentation block then? Block after function define on line 9. Oh, okay, let's say return. I say that obviously you need to write the function. So let's write the function first. Okay, so when this number is taken by the user here, okay, and passed to this function. So let's say user enter, let's say 7, right? So you need to check 7 divided by 2 is equal to 0, 7 divided by 3 is equal to 0, 4 is equal to 0, 5 is equal to 0, 6 is equal to 0, and 7 is equal to 0. So only 7 divided by 7 should be equal to 0, then it's a prime number, otherwise it's not. So we will do this by the loop. We take this number and we say, what we do is we just do two things. We this time just run the, we don't have to run 2 loops here because we know the number now. It's not a range, it's just a number. So we just say j in range, okay, and we say start from 2 and go up to whatever the number. Let's say if it's 5 plus 1, otherwise, because if we want to include that number in the loop, so that's why we say number plus 1, otherwise it will not include it. And we say number, okay, percentage, okay, j, okay, is equal to 0. Okay, if that is the case, then break. Okay, and do what then? Then you check outside, it will get us outside the loop, and then you check if number is equal to j. Okay, you mean number is dividing itself, right? Then you say prime is equal to true. Okay, else you say prime is equal to false. Okay, and that's all I have to do. And at the end of the function, you just return, yeah, you can return here prime. Okay, you just return prime. Sorry, it has to be here. And then when you call the function here like this, if prime, okay, if prime is true, if it return true, then do what? Yeah, if when you pass this number prime into true, which means you print, what did it say? If the number is prime, here look at this, if number is this one on top, what the question says, if number is prime, then print what? Print coffee of Starbucks is good, else print coffee at Dunkin is good. So we have to just write it exactly the same, right? We don't have to do anything here. We just copy this, okay, and put it under if number is a prime, right, like this. Else what? Else print just this one here. That's it. And we run this, and if we enter the number 5, okay, let's do this what is this? Oh, because we copied it, so it cannot be done like this. So you have to, by the way, do this, otherwise you get an error. You see here, this inverted commas, when you copy these, sometimes it gives you error. So you need to make sure you do not copy paste, and if you do, it should be done properly as it should be. Here you go, like this. Now we do this again. Okay, where we do it says here for loop, this one missing, and the rest seems okay. And this is expected where? At the wherever the if condition is. Here is the if condition, here is the if condition, it should be here as well, colon. And now return prime, prime, prime. This is invalid syntax. So because I don't know, somehow I always put the wrong spelling for return. Return, here you go. return. This is return. All right, here you go. Now you enter a number. A number I'm gonna enter is, let's say I'm gonna enter 6. It's gonna say Starbucks is good. Why? Because 6 is not a prime number. If it is not a prime number, it's gonna say the coffee of Dunkin is good, right? If it's a prime number, then it's gonna say Starbucks is good. So it's Dunkin is good, right? Now if I put a prime number, let's say 5, it'll say coffee of Starbucks is good. See, if I say 2 is a prime number, yes, because 2 can be only divided by itself and 1, so that's why Starbucks. 3 is a prime number, yes. If I put 3 here, yes, it's gonna say Starbucks. What about 4? 4 can be divided by 2 and 4, that's why it's not a prime number. So it'll say Dunkin is good. See, here go, Dunkin Donuts is good, because 4 is not a prime number. 6 is not a prime number. Even 10 is not prime number, because 10 can be divided by 2 as well. So here you go. So that's why it'll check if the number is divided by j, which we start from 2. So how does it work, by the way? Let me explain you again. So if I say 4, right, what will happen? The 4 will actually go into number. J will be starting, so number is 4, okay? Number is 4, okay? J will start from 2, right? So j is equal to 2, okay? And it will go up to 4, right? This is 4. So first time j will be 2, so it will say number percentage j, which means 4% divided by 2, and it'll check if it is equal to 0. Yes, it is 0, right? 4 divided by 2 is 0. It'll break the loop, it'll come here to the next condition here, outside the loop, and check if number is equal to j. Now, if number is 4, that's 2, it's not equal to j, which means 4 divided by 4 is not equal to 0, is not the case. It is basically 4 divided by 2 is equal to 0, which means when number and j are not equal, when you break the loop, that means this is not a prime number because it's been divided by another number other than itself, right? So that's why it will return true, right? But if it was 3 here in number and you divide it by 2, it will not give you 0, okay? Then it will go up and make it 3, this j, and 3 is divided by 3 now, right, equal to 0. Break the loop, come here and check if number is equal to j. Yes, 3 is equal to 3. That means a prime number because it divided by itself. So that's the whole philosophy behind this code, right? I hope you understood it, right? And try it out, try and understand it if you don't, right? So this is all a bit logical, right? So this is question number 4, right? Let's go to question number 5, right? So what is 5? You need to obtain all the odd numbers from a given list of multiple numbers. So let me refresh this and I will go to question number 5. Okay, here I'm going to paste question number 5. Okay, and then I'm going to break down question number 5 so that you understand it. First, write a program to obtain all odd numbers from a given list of from a given list of multiple numbers, right? So list should have multiple numbers, right? This is the first thing. It must be list and have multiple numbers, and then numbers should be given through the keyboard. Okay, the 3 things. 1, you must write a program to obtain odd numbers. Okay, odd numbers. Okay, from what? Odd numbers you should be given odd numbers. First, you need to, I think the most important thing here to understand is, right, but you must understand the question first, right? First thing you need to understand is that you must have write a program, right, that obtain all the odd numbers. This is the first thing. So you need to write a program to obtain odd numbers. Okay, odd number from where? From a given list of multiple numbers, which means a list should have multiple numbers, right? So there must be a list, number list, which should have multiple numbers like this, number list, right? Number list, and it should have multiple numbers like this, like 3, 4, 5, 6, right? Now, if this is the case, you need to find what are the odd numbers. So 3 is odd number, 5 is odd number. You need to find these 2 numbers out. But the most important thing is the number should be given through the keyboard, which means these 3, 4, 5, 6 will be entered by the user. Now that is a little problem, because when you use the input command, these numbers will be entered by the user. Either you take multiple inputs or you just take the input on a single line with a space, and then later on you can split the space with comma and put into the list, and that's the easier way to do it. So we could do that, we can easily get the what you call it, list from the keyboard. Okay, that takes the that basically separated by a comma. So you can basically separate, you can do separated by comma. Okay, not a space, sorry, separated by comma. Okay, so you can basically in the question where the solution I given you, I think I split it with the comma. So you need to enter these numbers with the comma, right? So you need to split the number string with the comma, right? So you can either enter it with the space and it will be splitted by the comma, every number, right? Every number will be splitted by the comma in the string, right? So how you can simply, and how do we do that? All right, let's do that here. Let's basically first do the split thing, right? So for example, if you want to first make the list, isn't it? So first thing first, forget about odd numbers. First, let's learn how to take a string and split it into with the comma. So you say enter numbers separated by space. So when you enter a number, you should separate it by space. And when you take this number in a string, then what you can do is you can create a number list, okay, and you can just say number string, which is the where you took it, right, and dot split, 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 right, with what, with comma. When you split it with the comma, then you can put it into the list, and then you print the list. It will be in the list, and but it will be splitted by the I just want to show you this by printing it, right? Later on we can delete this print. So let's say first we take a string with spaces and we print it on the screen, okay. Okay, we take a string and print it on the screen, and then we split that string. So what are we doing here? We're taking a string from the user separated by space, printing it on the screen, and then we splitting that string with a comma. Wherever there is a space, it will put a comma there, and it will put it into the list, because when you put with a comma in the list becomes like with a comma, right? It becomes a proper list. So, and then we print the list, right? Let's see what we get here. Okay, so here we put, let's say we say 1 space 2 space 3 space 5 4 9 7 7, and then we say 9. Now we have put a space there, right? When we enter this, see here, we put a space. Now what will happen is that space will be replaced by the comma, right? So, and let me actually show you here. So what you see here, right, this one is because of this statement, right? And then we're taking it from the user with the space, but then we print it, it will print 1 2 with the space because of this one. But then this line, what it will do is wherever there is a space, it'll put a comma there, because we said split string with comma. It'll put a comma with space, and it enter that into my list, and that becomes a list, proper list, like this, right? Like this, and it make it a list like this, right? Proper list like this, and then you can print the list. Let's see if it happens or not, right? Okay, let's run it. I'm gonna enter it here. Here you go. See? Oh, sorry, okay, there's a little mistake here. What you need to do is you need to separate by comma. So because we said spaces here, so you need to either separate by space, right? Split it by space, then it will put into the list like this, right? I say 1 3 4 5 6. Okay, see, then it put it into a list like this. Okay, either put here space, or you say here comma. Here you say separated by comma, like this, right? And I'll make that correction on the original solution, right? And that is also okay, separated by comma like this. Okay, and you say 1 2 3 4 5, and now this is space, so I need to give a comma here, right? I need to give a comma. I say 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4, right? Like this. Okay, that is also okay. Either way, you can put a comma there, or you can put a space there. It will put this into the list. Okay, so I think just one mistake here. I would leave the space. I like the space, by the way, because if we say here space like this, and we put here comma, that is okay. Or we put here let's say comma, we put here comma, and you enter like this with the comma, okay, and then it will split it like this because of this, right? So if you enter by comma like this, then you put comma here. If you enter by space here like this, okay, then you need to put a space here, okay, like this. And I say 1 2, I this time I do space. Okay, now space will be splitted and put into the string. See, same thing, right? So you can choose whatever you like. You wanna do space, then do space at here. You're gonna do comma here. But whatever, I think I'll change it to comma here, right? I'll change it to comma here. Okay, so you entered by comma, and I will change it here comma, and in the question I will also change it to comma, right? The solution, the solution I given you, I will also change it to comma. And now if I say this comma, it will be put in separately, see, separated by comma, and put into a list, no problem at all. This is the first thing you need to do, right? And what is the next thing you need to do? Next thing you need to do is you need to write the rest of the program to actually find odd numbers in it. So what you do is you define this, you say def, okay, get underscore odd underscore numbers, okay, and then you put numbers there, and this, then you say odd, you create a new list of odd numbers, okay, make it empty. But what you do is when this string is called, this string that you created here, new list, number list, it will be passed to numbers, and then what will happen is we run a for loop, we say number in numbers, I mean whatever the numbers are there, loop will run for it, and if, because it's a string, we need to convert it into integer. If integer number percentage 2 is not equal to 0, which means when it's not equal to 0, remainder is not equal to 0, that is an odd number, right? You but just add it to odd number dot append, okay, that's it. And then by the end of this, when this for loop is run completely, you just return the new list that you created of odd numbers, where you call it, right? So that's all the code, and let me explain you how this will work, right? So for example, as you see here, I already entered this, you know, I already entered 1 4 5 6, right, all this, okay, and this is first separated by commas and put into a new list. This is the number list, right? So this list will be passed on to this function, right, this function here. So let's slightly move it, and we have to write another code here at the end. We need to call that, yeah, we need to call that function, okay. We don't need to print a list now. We can get rid of this print command here, and instead of printing this list, we call that function. We say get, we can do is we can get the odd numbers. We can define a variable here, odd numbers is equal to, when we call this function get odd numbers, and we pass this number list. Let me explain you what happened there, and then you print the odd numbers, okay, let me explain you what happened here. Now listen, let's say, imagine we take the same input that we did here, right? Imagine user enter 1 4 5 6 8 9, this one that we did last time, right? And that's as a result of this line here. This line here, okay. First thing you need to do is you need to create a number list, because that is separated by comma, a string that needs to be splitted into a number list like this, right? This is a string, you need to convert it into a number list like this, and that line, second line, which is splitted by comma, basically convert the number string that you entered by the user, separated by commas because you said so, into a number list, and that is what it is. Now that number list, the one we just created here, this one 1 4 5 6 7 8 89, you see here there are quotations on the side, right? That means this is taken as a string of list, not an integer list, because of this, right? But anyway, when we get this number list, we call this get odd number and pass this number list to it, this one, right? And this number list will be given here, okay? And then we created an empty odd numbers, and we say for number in numbers, which is mean this loop will run first time for 1, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 89, right? How many times this loop will run? Start from 1, 4, then the value of 5 number will be this number will be 4, then it will be 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 89, because that's what we said in here, run and number in numbers. And what are numbers? Because we call it here, pass this string that we split it with commas, right, as a parameter. That's why this number will be this one. Now we say if integer number, why are we saying integer? Why? Because here you see here when we separated it, it's separated with the small quotation on the side. So that because this is a taken as a string, we need to convert it to integer. So that's why we put here integer number. Percentage 2 is not equal to 0, okay, which means it is an odd number. Then odd number dot append. This is empty right now, this one here, right? So what we do is we append the odd number into it, so it will keep putting the odd numbers into it. So we say odd number. Let's do it here. Odd underscore number. Okay, that is a empty string right now. Empty list, sorry. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to append all the odd number to it. So I'll leave it here like this, and we'll put all the odd number from here. So when the loop first time run, what is the number? Okay, what is number? I'll put number here. What is number when the loop first time run? Okay, number is because run in the numbers, and we passing this here 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 89 to this numbers. So first time loop runs, the number will be 1. Okay, and it check if number percentage 2 is not equal to 0. Yes, then odd numbers append number, so it will put 1 here, then comma, goes up there again, and number is now 4. Okay, is 4 divided by 2 is remainder not equal to 0? No, 4 divided by 2 the remainder is equal to 0, right? When it is 4, it is even number, so it will not come here and append it. Go up there again, the number is now 5. When number is 5, it divided by 2 again, and if it is not equal to 0, when you do number, say 5 divided by 2, if it is 5 divided by 2, okay, remainder is actually 1. So it is not equal to 0. So it will append into odd number. So it will put 5 here as well, right? This is 1 and 5. Then 6 is an even number because it is divided by 2 is not equal to 0. That's not true. It will not add it here. And then 7 is divided by 2 is not equal to 0. Yes, 7 divided by 2, if it is 7 divided by 2 is equal to 1. 7 divided by 2 is equal to 1. Yes, that's a remainder, right? Because 7 divided by 2 is 3, 6, and remainder is 1. So that's also odd number. It will put it here. And then it will come here, check 8. Is 8 odd number? No, it is even. So it will not append it. Is 89. Last one is 89. Is 89 odd number? Yes. 89 divided by 2 is not equal to 0. Okay, because 89 divided by 2 remainder is not equal to 0. So 89 is also odd number. We'll put 89 here. So we will get this odd number list is 1, 5, 7, 89. And it will return this, where it will return when you call this function. You say odd number is equal to get odd number list. So it will return this list, odd number list, and it will be saved in odd numbers here, right? And then you print odd number, so it will print this list. So what it will be printed? It will be printed 1, 5, 7, and 89. And what you enter 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 89, but you get this list. Let's run and see it, right? Let's run and see it. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 89. Okay, that's what you need to enter. You need to enter 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8 and 89, right? These are the number we need to enter, and what it will print 1 7 1 5 7 and 89. It will not print 4 and 8 because it's not the thing, and you separate it by comma, right? Because we said here separate by comma, and that's how it's gonna split with the comma. Here we go. See, 1, what is printed? 1 5 7 and 89. It didn't print 4 and didn't print 8. That's what the question asks you, and that's what you need to do. With this, we got our 5 questions done. So what we're going to do is we're going to make multiple video. Each will have 5 questions. All right. Thank you very much for doing these 5 questions with me. Take a break and watch the next video, which will have question 6 7 8 9 and 10. Thank you.